How's it going, clan? This is Jak III here. Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. So today I'll bring you my personal favorite top 10 PlayStation 2 game list. I've made this list based on the coolest and most well-made games for the console in my opinion. So it's a personal list and not a most cell-based professional analyst. So hope you guys enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get started to the game list. So number 10, Dead or Alive 2. Dead or Alive 2 is a fighting game in the Dead or Alive series developed by Team Ninja and published by Tecmo. Set less than a year later, after the original tournament, Tengu threatens the human world's peace and stability. Kazumi's brother Hayate, previously injured by Raidu, returns from being an unwilling subject of Doatek's bioweapon experiment Epsilon S, Hein. Eventually, Ryo Hayabusa defeats Tengu, winning the tournament. In DOA 2, the basis of the entire fighting system is the secret relationship between three types of moves: holds, throws, and blows. Dead or Alive 2 features a total of 14 playable fighters, plus the unplayable Kazumi X. Two of them are unlockable and cannot be used in story mode or in the arcade version. Dead or Alive 2 received critical acclaim and was a commercial success. It brought more than 2 million profit in sales. Number 9, Castlevania Lament of Innocence. Lament of Innocence is an action-adventure video game developed by Konami for the PlayStation 2 console.
What just happened? I felt something strange. Well, that may be so, but I must go ahead and face him.
Belonging to Konami's Castlevania video game series, it is the first installment of the series on the PlayStation 2 and the third to make use of a 3D style of gameplay. It was released in Japan and North America in late 2003 and Europe and Australia in early 2004. Set in 1094, it focused on the origins of the series' premise, the eternal conflict between the vampire hunters of the Belmont clan. Lament of Innocence follows Leo Belmont as he searches the vampire's castle in search of its kidnapped betrothed. Exploring the castle is an open-ended task with puzzles, concealed items, rooms, and bosses. Lament of Innocence received generally positive reaction from reviewers, who praised it as an enjoyable, though not complex video game. Number 8, Gran Turismo 4. Gran Turismo 4 is a 2004 racing video game and the fourth installment in the main Gran Turismo series. It was developed by Polyphony Digital and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Gran Turismo 4 is one of only 4 titles for the PlayStation 2 that is capable of a 1080i output. Players now accumulate points by winning races in the normal first-person driving mode, called a spec mode. The new B-spec mode puts players in the place of a racing crew chief, telling the driver how aggressively to drive, when to pass, and mandating pit stops. Another new addition to the game is the driving missions, which are similar in experience to the license tests, but award successful completion with 258 spec points and 1,000 or more credits. Compared with Gran Turismo 3 A spec, graphics are greatly improved with more detail on cars and tracks. GTA 4 continues its predecessor's footsteps by offering an extremely large list of 721 cars. Upon its release, GT4 was met with critical acclaim and it was a commercial success, becoming one of the highest selling games of 2005. Number 7, Urban Chaos Riot Response. Urban Chaos Riot Response is a first-person shooter video game developed by British games developer Rocksteady Studios and published by Eidos Interactive for the PlayStation 2. The player controls Nick Mason, a member of the newly formed T-Zero Riot Response Squad, in an unnamed modern American city that has been overtaken by the notorious Burners gang. He must defeat them by whatever means necessary in order to protect the city, capturing gang leaders and rescuing injured civilians along the way. The game was developed using the Avoc physics engine for in-game physics effects. The game received average reviews on both platforms according to the review aggregation website Metacritic. The game got a score of 1.8, 1.7 and 2.8 for a total of 31 out of 40. Number 6, Driver Parallel Lines. Driver Parallel Lines is the fourth installment in the Driver video game series. The game takes place in New York City within the periods of 1978 and 2006. Focuses on a getaway driver named TK, who seeks revenge on a gang he worked with during his youth, after they frame him for the murder of a drug lord. TK is imprisoned in Sing Sing prison for 28 years and makes plans to go after the group upon his release. Driver Parallel Lines takes place in an entirely open world environment in which minigames are now accessed from the in-game world.
Jack it up.
The game received mixed or average reviews on all platforms according to video game review aggregator Metacritic. Praise went towards the story, fixes and improvements over the previous title. Driver Parallel Lines features a mixed license and original song soundtrack consisting of over 70 songs. Number 5, Sly 2, Band of Thieves. Sly 2, Band of Thieves is a platform stealth video game developed by Sucker Punch and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Two years after defeating Clockwork, Sly Cooper breaks into the Museum of Natural History in Cairo to steal the Clockwork parts, but discovers that the parts are already missing. Band of Thieves brings several new gameplay elements into the fold. In addition to Sly, the player can play as Bentley and Murray. Another new feature is pickpocketing. When Sly sneaks up behind an enemy, he can reach out with his cane and grab coins out of the enemy's pocket. The game received critical acclaim and is often considered to be one of the greatest PlayStation 2 games of all time. Number 4, Crash of the Titans. Crash of the Titans is a platform game developed by Radical Entertainment and published by Vivendi Games for the PlayStation 2. Crash of the Titans is a beat-em-up game with platforming aspects in which the player controls Crash Bandicoot, whose main objective is to rescue his sister Coco and save his home, the Upa Island. There's 15 unique Titans. The game has received mixed reviews upon its release. Despite its mediocre reception, the game was nominated for 2 awards. Number 3, Ratchet Gladiator Deadlocked. Deadlocked, known as Ratchet Gladiator in Europe and Australia and Ratchet & Clank 4 in Japan, is a 2005 platformer in the Ratchet & Clank series developed by Insomniac Games.
The new armor you're wearing is
third issue for new contestants.
Contestants?
We will explain later.
The game's story begins as Ratchet, Clank and Al are forced to compete in Red Zone, a violent game show in which heroes are forced to kill each other.
Greetings, hero, and welcome to Red Zone. Rest assured, you are now far beyond the reach of hope. There will be no rescues, no pardons, no possibility of escape. You are now a contestant on the greatest television program that Galaxy has ever known. Prepare yourselves. I'm gonna make this one messy. We'll see who the real hero is. Chances are you'll be dead by tomorrow. But those of you who play the game with skill and strategy will earn a chance to win your freedom.
The gameplay is similar to that of other games in the series, but focuses more on shooter aspects rather than platforming.
Time to blow smoke up! That's right, it's time for Red Zone, the galaxy's #1 uncensored, unethical, and completely underground combat sport. Blasting straight at you, live from the Battle Dome.
Deadlock was met with generally favorable reviews.
Get you live, right here, on Vox.
Number 2, Jak III.
This is a death sentence, Uyghur. There must be another.
Jak III is an open-world platform third-person shooter action-adventure video game developed by Naughty Dog.
Someone will find you, I promise.
The game is set 1 year after the events of Jak II. Jak III largely focuses on the Wasteland, a large desert only briefly referred to as being completely uninhabited and inhospitable.
Prove yourselves worthy, or the desert will be your grave. We use these babies to make runs into the deep desert. Tough wheels for tough work.
The gameplay of Jak III is a blend of platforming, driving, and gun combat. Missions can consist of anything from defeating particular enemies, reaching a specific location, or completing a puzzle.
Heroes think they can save the world when they themselves are lost. You could not possibly understand the dark forces at work here.
Don't talk to me about dark powers.
You need a hug, Jack, because we got plenty to go around.
Behold the pure power of light, one which will help you reach new places.
Like its predecessors, Jak III takes place in an unnamed fictional universe created by Naughty Dog specially for the games.
You seem upset. How delightful.
Jack, we're in serious trouble.
That floating war factory has got to be shut down.
If we lose this one, we're history.
Jak III received generally positive reviews, with critics praising the gameplay as well as the immense story. The game currently holds an 85.33% approval rating on game rankings.
Not you.
Come on, Bigfoot, let's get back. This desert gives me the creeps.
Number 1 is Jak X Combat Racing. Jak X is a vehicle combat video game developed by Naughty Dog.
Welcome, race fans, to another turbocharged season of high-stakes, high-speed racing. In today's race, a few veteran drivers will meet the upstarts for the first time, and the Blitzmeister has a feeling it won't be pretty.
Let's race.
Jak and his allies, who after having been poisoned, must partake in a championship of the fictional sport of combat racing in an effort to obtain an antidote.
We're just gonna have to win the whole thing.
Against those lunatic racers out there? What are the odds?
The gameplay focuses on arcade racing rather than action-adventure gameplay.
Wait till you race against the big-name drivers.
It gets worse.
Much.
This is UR-86, the deadliest driver on the planet. This bucket of bolts loves living things, so he can make them dead.
You're the next big star. Of course, every star eventually falls.
We've been chased, attacked, shot at, poisoned, and blown up. How could it get any worse?
Hello, ankle biters.
It's worse.
Everyone wants you dead. Aren't you worried?
I'm probably dead already, but that doesn't mean I can't take a few scumbags with me.
Jak X received favorable reviews from critics and currently holds a 77.01% approval ratings on game rankings.
Ready whenever you are.
I really wish I could be there to give you a big hug.
Stay tuned and keep those engines humming.
So, thank you for watching, bros. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up and subscribe down below.